I'll be honest, guys. I just don't know how to feel about this game. When it started, I felt like I would immediately hate it. It was just crammed full of lines that I probably would have found hilarious in like 2010, which just so happens to be around the peak of Cyanide and Happiness's popularity. You start off playing as a kid named Coop, who has psychic abilities and is tasked by a superhero named Psionic Steve with saving a school full of children from the clutches of an evil scientist known as Dr. Dropout. But the catch of it all is that he and his henchmen are all really dumb. So their main goal is to make everyone else really dumb too. So before he can do that, we, as Coop, have to use our psychic abilities to save everyone before he can dip them in this goo that makes them dumb. Except Kent. Fuck you, Kent. The start of this game isn't great, but it does have some interesting elements to it. Namely the powers that Coop has. I was kind of expecting to be adding more powers to my arsenal throughout the game. Sadly, that was not the case. After successfully saving everyone in the school, and getting the girl, Coop is brought back to reality with his abusive teacher screaming in his face, asking him if he was listening. From this moment on, the only abilities that Coop has is to look, touch, and talk to anything and everything in the world that may be something that you can interact with. That's it. There is no more to the gameplay. You just click around until you find the thing that you were looking for to complete the task that you were given. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of a good point-and-click adventure game, but the key word there is good. This game is not that, like at all. The only redeeming feature it has is its accurate reproduction of the look of the comic strips that the game is based on. Everything in this game immediately gets super repetitive. The gameplay, the humor, and especially the music. I actually kind of liked the music at first. It was something that you could whistle along to as you played the game. There was a glimmer of hope there in the beginning. Oh, how naive I was. The music is pretty decent, I'll give it that. But when you continuously play the same 2 to 3 lines of music notes over and over and over again on a loop, I start to quickly lose my mind. Shit, maybe Dr. Dropout was onto something. Also, for some reason, the music kept making me think of the Toy Story 2 video game, and I'm not entirely sure why. Aside from the music, the main issue that I had with this game was that it just wasn't very funny. It did get a couple little chuckles out of me in the very first couple minutes of the game, but after that, I don't think I even smiled while playing the rest of the game. Is my heart black as coal? No! This game, which is based on some pretty funny comic strips, is just not funny. How do you mess that up? You had such a good base to play off of. Most of the jokes come down to, haha, we hate you, Coop, and here's why you're an awful human. It gets old pretty fast. Speaking of hating Coop, that's pretty much what the story comes down to as well. Your ultimate goal in this game is to find someone to go to prom with, all the while getting your butt beat by your school bullies, a jock that poops his pants sometimes.
Get out of him, huh? You mean like the time you kicked the shit out of your pant leg, Chet?
That jock's stereotypical cheerleader girlfriend, and Kent, a soon-to-be 5-time prom king of the school you go to. Fuck you, Kent. So how do you accomplish this goal of finding your prom date, you might ask? Well, you go around and ask everyone and everything you can find to go with you. 'Cause, you know, haha, funny joke. When I first started this game, I tried to play it as thoroughly as I could. Clicking on everything I could, talking to everyone I could, and trying to find as many of the collectible hats and outfits as possible. But I'll be honest, once my ears started to bleed from the continuous drone of the same 3 lines of music being played on repeat, I beelined it to the end of the game. I even looked at some walkthroughs to get through some areas when I didn't want to try clicking on everything until I found the answer to the puzzles the game wanted. I know, that's sacrilegious. Looking up walkthroughs? How could you? Look, I'm human like the rest of us, and I just wanted to be done with this game as soon as possible so I could warn you all not to buy it. Now, I know that it may seem like this game has no redeeming qualities. I mean, I can't say I'm painting it in the best of light, but it does have some charm to it. The art style is top-notch. It is a little weird that it only supports up to 1080p on PC, but I guess that doesn't really matter too much with a visual style like this. You can tell that there was at least a little bit of effort put into it. But overall, at best, it feels like a poor attempt at capturing the charm that the comics have. And at worst, a cash grab. This game was kickstarted by nearly 15,000 people, and I can't help but feel sorry for them. I'm sure they were expecting something better than this. But, and this is a small but, this seems to be only the first part of the game. They seem to have been shooting for a 2018 release date for the first chapter originally, so it seems like they may have run into some trouble during development. If that's the case, I hope that with some of the backlash that this game has been getting, they can do a course correction and hopefully they can deliver on the next chapters of the game. I will be revisiting this game for each of its chapter releases, but until I see its final form and can judge it as a whole, I can't recommend this to anyone. So, if you're curious to see where Cyanide and Happiness Freakpocalypse, God, even the name sucks, ends up, make sure to subscribe to see the reviews I put up of the next chapters of this train wreck of a game.
Sorry for all the bullying, but you gotta help me out! My favorite color is applesauce.
Oh no!